Hello everybody and welcome to the final episode of Season 4, that is for the KCCA FC TV show, and this one will be discussing the brilliant and the best moments for the season 2022-2023 when it comes down to business, that is for KCCA FC. And as usual, I'm your host, Magero Moses Mwanje is my name, like it has been throughout most of the episodes for the Season 4, but I'm not alone. I'm with your usual suspect, Patrick Ochieng, and we've run this kind of thing for the most part, that is for this previous season that we are concluding, that is Season 4. And we'll be, like I said, discussing the brilliant and the most fun moments for the season 2022-2023. Patrick, very pleased and humbled to have you on the KCCA FC TV show tonight once again.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah.
I'm here to do what I can do, what I've always done throughout the season, and I'm happy to be here too. It's a season finale, so I'm happy to be on.
Season finale, like you said, it's been a roller coaster of a season, that is for KCCA FC and even KCCA FC TV. Season 4 started in November last year. 31 episodes. Okay, they've been 30 and this is the finale. We'll call it the 31st. But did you ever envision this running, the test of time? 30 episodes, not a mean feat, I will say.
Yeah, KCCA has had a TV before, the other season before this, and it really did well. It ran. Was it the first time it was running? The other at Next Media?
Yeah, that was season 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Then there was a break, and then season 4 still at Next Media. So all our episodes have always been here.
Yeah, so you see that it is something that has happened before, but this time around maybe there are very many episodes that have come on, and I expect maybe next season to have more episodes. You never know, because there is a lot that can still be done. And I am proud to be part of the team. I rejoined KCCA.
That's very key, eh? When you say rejoined, because... Okay, go ahead.
I rejoined KCCA in December. By the time I rejoined, it had around 3 episodes had been run on the TV. So to be part of the other 27 episodes that have run on the TV is quite overwhelming. And I can't thank the KCCA administration enough for giving us the platform and the opportunity to showcase what we can and to drive the club forward when it comes to TV content. And I'm very happy also. I've gotten to work with new people. When I was at KCCA, some people were not there, of course, when I left. I'm working now with new people. There is Joshua Nagenda, the man behind the TV as well. Then we have both our camera guys were not around. Ivan Turiatunga was not around by the time I was around. Then also Robert Molamule was also not around. So these are new guys I'm working with. And it has been quite an experience to work with them, and I like it.
Quite an experience to work with them. Definitely shout outs to all the guys that you never get to see. You'll always see Patrick or I, but there are a lot of guys that try to make sure this show is put out there, and it's the best kind of content you'll ever see when it comes down to football clubs in the region. When I say in the region, I'm talking of East Africa, Central East Africa, because even the clubs that you might think are the best in the region may not have some of this kind of thing. So to Ivan, to Robert, to Joshua, to even the team at Next Media, that is JP, John Paul, Rita, Pius, and very many other guys. You guys do a very amazing job, and we really appreciate that. I just have to make sure that I say this, not even at the end of the show,
but even
in the middle of the show. Do we need to thank ourselves? I think it's a given.
Thank me and I thank
normally they say it's a given. Is it a given for you to do this?
It is.
But anyway, Patrick, an opportunity for you and I to serve when it comes down to this kind of thing, KCCA FC TV. How has the experience been like? You've said you've met new people. It was a little bit different when you joined in, but the new challenge that you might have hosted it before at where you were, the football club, but this is a little bit different. The experience, we just want you to share that with us.
This experience is a little bit different. Where I was before, it was always a live show. So you would come on set and you have to say whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you go wrong, it's up to you. There is no editing. And it does not need a lot of prep. But now with this, you need a lot of preparations because you have to prepare the people you're bringing on. And anything recorded needs a lot of preparation and editing because you have to sit down. The post-production now, after the real shooting, you have to sit down, you have to edit, you have to rewatch what has been edited and try to make sure that what is going to run on TV actually is what has to be run, unlike when it's live. So this is a whole new experience, and I think, yeah, I would love to have it next season, and hopefully, maybe, if I'm around, which I do hope.
Are you leaving again?
No.
You know, he's a journeyman. Eh? When I ask him, is he leaving again? He's a journeyman. He's known to. He never settles at
No, you never know. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But I hope to be around for as far as I know. I'm still around, and it has been a nice experience. Also having you. Hosting some shows together, I think it's a good experience.
Been nice having you, like you said. We'll dive straight into it. KCCA FC season 2022-2023. So much happened. Photo finish at the end of the season. That is tying 53 points with Vipers. That defended the championship because they won its own goal difference. That is just 6 goals more than KCCA FC. But we tied with own 53. Scored 44 goals and conceded 24. If I am to be right, we considered, I think, 24 goals. And 23, just to be exact. We considered 23 and scored 44 goals. That is a difference. A goal difference of about 21?
23 and 50?
No, we scored 44 goals.
44?
And considered 23. That's a goal difference of 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, so much happened in the season. We are going to just get through your best goals, best 10 goals of the season. You may not finish all the 10, but like your best goals of the season. There were very many goals scored by KCCFC players. Which goals do you choose that stood out for you during the season? And why?
I may not have all the 10 goals because I might have joined KCCA in December, but I would like to say I joined mostly in the second half of the season. So most of the goals that were scored in the first half, I may not have very clear memory of them, but one of my best goals, and I may not also recall the games, but I have the vision and I can see the goals entering the back of the net. My favorite goal was Kankonde, I think, against, was it at home here?
Busoga United?
Busoga United,
where they exchanged
where they
passes?
had the passes, 1-2. I think that is the best goal I have seen. The art that was in the goal, and it was something nice to the eye. And also Rogers Matos' goal on that final game of the season where he had that shot right outside the box. Yeah, right outside the box.
Against Bright Stars?
Against Bright Stars at home. Then also, Rogers Mato himself had a shot with his left foot. It was against, which goal? It was also here at Lugogo. I think it was against, was it UPDF? There is a certain...
Against SC Villa, the 4-1.
Yes, actually, against
the 4-1.
Villa,
I think the ball is dropped in the midfield.
Yes.
Then a pass is threaded through the middle.
Yeah,
and then he drives and then it's a shot with the left.
Yes, it was SC Villa at the 4-1 win. And for me, I think that SC Villa game should also be one of my best games for KCCA FC this season. And for me, I think I wouldn't want to go to 10 goals, honestly. Not many were eye-catching.
Not many were eye-catching.
I would like to stick to those 3 goals.
The 3. I'll just mention a few of them and just to see if you recall, and I will tell you which stood out for me. But I just...
But I know what stood out for you cannot be. You always try to be on the opposing side.
No, it's different. Your voice actually be different.
I expect it to be one that people see.
I'll just talk about a few that I felt really, will ring through my memory for quite some time. That is Alan Okelo's goal against Gaddafi at home. The game is 1-1, and in the final 10 minutes of the game, Alan picks a ball. I think it was a loose ball just on the edge of the 18 and then shoots immediately. The game ended 2-1. I don't know if you recall that goal.
Was it in the first round?
Yes, it was in the first round.
First round.
Yeah, you may not have been around, but you must have watched at least those highlights. I felt that was also a brilliant goal, and just like the pictures you see on your screen, guys, you must have to remember that goal. It was a brilliant one. You talked of Kankonde against Busoga. I also noted it as one of the top goals. He had.
If it's not your best, you're a fraud.
It's not the best. I'll tell you which was my best. He had. He really struggled when it got down to scoring goals, and you know it happened with foreigners. He came in, people kept on saying that he's not scoring and what, but then later on he got his
His chance,
his chance and also the trust that the coaches gave him at the time, and the goals came in. You've talked about Rogers Mato against Bright Stars. Yeah, I also noted that one outside the box. He scored 4 goals. That is a howl on the final day. Should also be top. We a little bit similar. And then there is Kagawa, SC Villa, away.
First round.
Yes, should be a first round. Yes, first round. No. Yeah, first round because it was 3-0. The game where SC Villa was banned, and that should have been the last game they were playing away. No, not in Bombo. In Lira, Akiboa Stadium. And this is his former team. So he gets the ball on the left because he's a right-footed player, and he weaves through, I think, about 3 players, and then he shoots. The game ended 3-0. But I felt that was a brilliant and top goal. That is for Kagawa, a player that you feel still has to offer more for the club. He has got a 3-year contract with the club. He's just served 1 so far.
From the way you're explaining, I see you wanting to make that your best goal.
Not the best, but I felt it was one of the best goals. One of the best 10 for me.
Oh, okay.
And how much do you rate this player? That is Kagawa.
No, Kagawa is a very... What's his nickname?
Kagawa Muhammad, and he has another name. I'm forgetting. Senoga Muhammad Kagawa. I don't know his nickname, but that is... And all I own the passport, by the way. So those should be official names.
I actually like the way he plays. Yeah. He's a player who's going to bring something different. You see, with Ugandan football, it's very hard to find players who can fizzle through defenses and then dribble around and pass through defenses with that eye-catching type of football. The way we see Alan Okello do, they are quite very... We have limited editions of players who can actually do that. And Kagawa is one of them. When he's on pitch, he may not score, but he's definitely going to give you that game. Well, we had this kid at KCCA who left. Is now playing for Red Bull.
Serada Steven.
Yeah, Serada Steven. Yes. You see the kind of game that Serada has. He wants to take on players, and so does Kagawa. Not this thing of making sure that you release the ball so fast.
You don't get into contact with players.
So his kind of play, and I think with the amount of period that he has at KCCA, I see him he has not gotten the game time that he wants, but I think he will get the game time. It's only a matter of time. If you're good enough, of course the football is seen on the pitch, and when you're good enough, you always get the time.
Okay. A player in Moses Waiswa picked 2 of his goals. All his goals this season were free kicks. He scored 3 goals for the club. One was against SC Villa away, the other was against Oduparaka at home. And then the other was another free kick against Kampala junior team. That was at the Neck grounds. That game was in the Uganda Cup. Still a free kick. He's not scored a goal out of open play this season. But the 2 free kicks against SC Villa away, that was his first goal for the club. That was in Lira, yes. Lira. And then the other against Oduparaka at home.
From the 2 free kicks, I would definitely pick the one of SC Villa, because I remember watching that game on TV, and that was a little bit, the distance was farther than the one of Oduparaka, and also the technique that he used. I want to think it was harder to score the one of Villa than the one of Oduparaka, and I would pick the one of Villa ahead of the one of Oduparaka. Though I felt like the one of Oduparaka, the keeper should have also done better. It was far, but the keeper had also moved to that point. And you feel like on another day, the keeper might have had a little tip on the ball.
Because I think he fumbles the ball, but it's rolls into the net.
For the one of Villa, the keeper really had no chance. That one. It was a deft free kick.
Deft free kick. Yeah. And how much do you rate this player? He's been around for some time, national team, currently on the national team still. And... you feel there's more to come from him? He signed a 2-year contract with the club. He subbed 1 so far. Yeah,
I think KCCA as a whole had not all players performed to the maximum or to how we expect them to perform, the top level. All of them actually from last season. If you're to look at all the players' performances, there are very few players that you'll pick out who really performed, like Saidi Mayanja. He really did outperform. Then Mustafa Mujuzi. There are like 2 or 3 players that you would pick out, but the rest actually, I wouldn't say underperformed, but they did not give the performance that their quality brings. For Waiswa, I think we would have seen
More from
because the top assister of the season was Alan Okello with 8, and is the top assister of the league from the previous season. So you feel like Moses Waiso should have had more assists and more goals, because if you're looking at the creative players the country has, Moses Waiso actually ranks top 3. So being a player that has not two goals in the season is for Moses Waiso's caliber is too low, and also the assists that he had, I think that the quality is there. He just needs to get his game next season. Maybe it's also because the team was not performing well. You see, even a good player playing in a team that is not performing well, their quality is a little bit shadowed.
But you see, someone out there could say that if the team is not playing well, those are the kind of players that should lift the team. If you have the quality that Moses has, you should be one of those players that should lift the team. But well, that should be a thought of someone else. Then the final 3, I'll pick Saidi Mayanja's goal against SC Villa. That was his first start for the club in a competitive game in the league. Yes, he had played for the club before. If you remember in the pre-season, those pre-season games that we played, I think one was in Burundi and all that. But I'll talk about the game against SC Villa. That should have been the second goal of the game, because at the time the club had already scored a goal, and then the ball is lifted. I think Rogers Martizan who lifts that ball.
The header.
Yeah.
It was Kankonde.
Kankonde from the left.
Yeah.
And it skips past one of the tall defenders. Actually, I think after that goal, that defender is taken off. I remember a substitution was made. But then Saidi Mayanja, the shortest player on the pitch, and going for the header, and that was a diving header past the SC Villa goalkeeper. And you felt at that moment it was far, and it had been stretched away from SC Villa. It was going to be hard for them to come back.
Do you have to add the shortest player on the pitch?
He's the shortest.
Because the way he scored, actually, the kind of goal he scored was meant to be scored by a short pass.
Yeah, because he just like
he actually had
sneaks in and the goal is in.
It was a diving header.
Yeah.
So for me, Saidi Mayanja, if I'm to be asked, one of the players for me that stood out.
Revelation.
He might have started playing in the second round and he had a few games. His games are really countable by the fingers. But the fact that he actually came and changed the game, who would have known that he would be benching Fadiga? Because the kind of game and he was actually scoring. His first game and he scored, and he has
first start
of the season, and he scored. He has been such a revelation, and
top player.
He works his lungs out.
Top player, I should say. I think it's worth bearing in mind that he was a very key figure for the under-20 team that was playing in the African Cup of Nations. They almost made the World Cup because they just had to beat Nigeria in the quarterfinals. They didn't do that. He also scored in that, I think, the second game of the group stages. I forget the team that they were playing against, whether Burkina Faso or something, but he scored a goal against that team. And you get to feel that he's, given the years that he signed for KCFC, about 4, 5, he's just subbed one, so he has 4 to go. He's going to be a top player for the club.
Yeah, and if you look at, with football at times, if you don't have the hard work, even when you have the talent, there is nothing that is going to happen. So I like the fact that he really put in a shift, and the shift worked, because you would see there is a way he was. I like the Coach Mayanja's approach. He was putting him up front. Very many people thought this is
a 6.
A deep 6, who would be playing deep 6, but he was actually playing him more or less like a 10 or 8. He was playing that role of a 10 or 8, and he was scoring the goals. And I think he has some goals in his boots.
There's a goal that he scores, I think, against Oduparaka that was cancelled. Top moment, I should say. The exchange of passes, I think about 10 touches
it was flagged
from KCCFC. Yeah, it was a diving header still. And unfortunately, just down that side, the linesman had indicated that there was an offside. I think Chiza was off.
He enjoys the game, actually. He plays his game and he does what he does.
The final goal before I choose my goal of the season, Ashraf Mugume, first game of the season against Wakiso Giants. That game had Wakiso almost get back into this game. The game ended 3-2, but Fadiga came off the bench for that one and scored 2 brilliant goals, if you're to recall. There was a substitution made, I think, because of an injury, and that's how Mugume gets into the team and scored 2 brilliant goals. But I'll talk about goal number 2, that was out of the box, top goal, top technique, and a very fine finish. this player, Ashraf Mugume, didn't have the best of the second round for him, but his game and his kind of play in the first round.
No, Ashraf Mugume is also one of the best players the country has. If you're to compare the players that he plays with in the position that he plays, too bad that he was taken down by some injuries, and then coming back, he found a young boy who was very hungry to play and give the best that he could in Saidi Mayanja, and it was really very hard to bench Mayanja at that point. So maybe next season we are going to have a more competitive team that is going to have players actually wanting to displace some other players. I realized something with the team maybe. If I'm benched and I think I'm the best, and another player is being given the opportunity, maybe I'm going to just sit back and wait for my... They actually do not want to fight and come back and fight for their position. Yeah. So I think that next season, there is a lot that these players have to give us, starting with the senior players, and they have to show the quality that they have on the pitch.
You've got to show the quality that you have on the pitch. As we wind this up, I'll give my best goal of the season, and it's going to be Rogers Mato's goal, the top scorer for the club at the end of the season with 11 goals in the league and 3 or 4 goals in the Uganda Cup. But I'll talk about the goal against SC Villa. Ball is threaded in the middle, and Rogers Mato controls with his right, sets up with his left, and brilliant shot against SC Villa. And won that game 4-1. So for me, I pick that as my goal of the season, just like the pictures we say tell a better story. And you have seen, guys, we'll be wrapping this up. That is our best moments and our best goals for the season 2020-2023. And we'll be going to a break. When we return, so much to talk about, including the best lineup for KCCA FC from both of us, that is for the previous season, and also a little bit of the new manager, that is Sergio Traguil. And we'll be getting to know more from about this gentleman. All this after the break. All right, welcome back from that break. Like we told you, we still have so much to talk about, the best moments and the most brilliant of things that happened in the season 2022-2023. I'm still your host, Moses Mwanje. Magero is my name. And I am with your usual suspect, that is Patrick Ochieng. And as we go into the final segment for this season, we have would like to get to know, we had 30 players. Actually 29 at the start of the season that were licensed by the club. About 3 or 4 had been released, who had been loaned. We had a player in Mwanje Elvis, a player in Juma Ibrahim, a player in Alan Enyo. All these were on loan, and later on, Daniel Isiagi joined them on loan. But the rest of the 29, or actually, Brian Kanji also went on loan. So about 28 players finished the season licensed to play for KCCFC. Your best lineup. That's what exactly I would like to pick. You will not say all the 28. You could give special mentions at the end of it. But who are those players that you feel, if you had the mantle to choose the best 11
best
for the
11.
club, who are these 11?
Of course, if I'm to pick my best 11, there are of course very many players that had to play for KCCA last season. KCCA rarely had first 11. There were changes at least in every game, so it's hard to pick out only 11.
I think we had some consistencies. Some players were really consistent.
Yeah, some players were consistent.
Joffrey, I think, and Mujuzi.
Yes.
Should have played 95% of those games.
Of course.
Yeah.
But then, if I'm to pick, I should be picking best 15 or best 17.
Okay.
I think KCCA had like 17 players who consistently started in games, all the 30 games.
Okay.
But away from that,
best
I'll
11.
start in goal. Like I said, KCCA used all the goalkeepers, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Ali Mwerusi started the season.
The first 3 games.
First 3 games, he went. They brought in Derek Ochan. He also had his games. He left. Then the captain came in and he got his place and he was leading the boys. So for me, Benja Ochan is in goal. Then I come to the defense. I wanted to use a back three, but I think I'll go for a back four. Mustafa Mujuzi is going to be at the back with Geoffrey Waswa. So I'll put Waswa in 4 and Mujuzi in 5. On the left, I was having different thoughts. I would want to put Majuega.
But why don't you want to put him? Give us your reasons why.
Why I don't want to put him?
Yes, you're saying you would like to. That means you didn't. Look straight into that camera, please, as you give those.
The other number 3 is Mubiru?
No, Mubiru is ahead. The other was Chiza came in later.
Yes.
Yes.
Besides that Chiza.
There was no other left back that we had during the season.
When
Atube, Rogers.
There are times when Majuega was not around.
It was either Atube or Chiza. The other times we would just have to play maybe a back 3 and then,
yes,
or even Magambo coming through to.
But we used to have Mubiru play.
He was forward. He was a forward player. 11 and 7, yeah.
So for me, let me just put Majuega for your case.
Not for my case, for your case. It's your lineup, please.
No, but yeah, he's a senior player and he has played most of the game. So it would really be unfair not to put him there. Though my problem with him is availability. There are times when he was not available and the club really needed someone in that position.
Yeah.
And for me, for you to be a good player, you must always be available for the team. So I'll have Majuega on the number 3, then I'll have Obenchan on the right back. That's my back 4.
Okay.
Then coming to midfield, I'm going to have a 1 midfield man. That is okay. I'll have, let me put 2. I'm going to have Iguma and Said Mayanja.
Those are 7 players so far that you've chosen.
Those are 7 players.
5, 6, 7. Yes.
Yes. I'm remaining with
4.
4. Now, having put Dennis Iguma and Said Mayanja, I'm going to bring in Moses Waiswa to sit in front of them. Then I bring Alan Okello in number 7 position because he has always played drifting off the right flank.
Yes.
Then I'm going to have Rogers Mato, number 11, who has always also played most games, drifting off the left, there are times as a striker, but I'll love to have him in the number 11 position. I feel like he offers more while he's dribbling or coming in with the ball and other than being in the strike. Then of course, my number 9 is going to have to be Kankonde. There is no one who has scored more goals than him in that position with the strikers that we have. So I think that is my best 11 for the season.
That's your best 11 for the season. I think I deviated a little bit. I would use a back 3 from what exactly you have chosen. I go with the captain, had the most clean sheets among all the 3 goalkeepers that the club has. Even when Ali started the season, I think the first 2-3 games, and then you had Derek come through. Also those games when the captain was away because of compassionate leave, when he had lost the mother and Derek stood in. I felt still Benja had a little bit of better numbers compared to the other because of in terms of clean sheets and also command and leadership. But also shout outs to the rest of the goalkeepers. In defense, I'll go with Philbert. I feel the games when he played, he really gave his all. He's a player that I've never doubted in terms of desire and commitment. He's got the grit. Most people call him warrior at the club. He may not be the most talented of the right backs that we have, but the kind of power and the heart that he brings through and his character. I'll go for Mujuzi and Geoffrey Waswa, and that's my defense. I'm using a back 3. So Waswa is playing more on the left, but as trying to help out.
And Mujuzi
Mujuzi centrally, and then Obenchan on the right. Why I'm going for that is...
You want to compact the midfield?
Yeah, because I want to have more numbers in the midfield, but I also feel that Mujuzi, just like Obenchan, even when, like I said, they may not be the most talented of the players that we have at the club, but for me, a guy is going to go out there and leave it all out there on the pitch. A player in Mujuzi. Geoffrey also gives you the same. A lot was said about the player from, different people, but I felt he was one of the best performers.
Yeah, he was one of the always available.
Always available, and you give 100%.
Yes, 100%.
Remember against Vipers, the game where he's, I think he hit on the neck or something, he was bleeding. I know very many players out there who would just ask for a substitute or a substitution.
But he kept pushing.
He just told the doctor to tie him, I think around the neck or something, and try to stop the bleeding.
Said, I can have.
And he fought on. For me, a player with a character like that, I would have him in my team any day. And then in the middle, in the midfield, I'll go for Dennis Iguma. He was a little bit more available, just like you said. The number of games he missed, yes, but the games when he was available, and he came through with some very crucial goals. I remember that equalizer against Black Spur away, when Black Spur scored against KCCA in the final. In the first minutes, he came through and scored that equalizer, the header. And you felt also his leadership also helped in a number of games that we played during the season. So Dennis Iguma in my midfield. I would play Saidi Mayanja and Moses Weiss were in the same midfield. Then Alan Okello on the right. And then Julius Poloto on the left. Why I played Julius Poloto? Even when he didn't play very many games, but the games when he came and played for the club, very impactful. The goal against Gaddafi, away, 1-0, very hard place. I think Gaddafi had lost the game in the entire second round. Actually, in the whole season at their place. And then Julius Poloto goes there and scores that very important goal. And you felt he was one of the revelations when Jackson Mayanja came through as the coach of the club, because he scored, I think, in about 3 games. There's a goal he scored, I think against AC Villa, he scored a goal. Coming off the bench, he scored a goal against Gaddafi, coming off the bench. Very impactful player, and you get to feel that there's more he can still offer the club despite his injury record. I've talked about Alan Okello being on the left because he's that player that, drifts through, and then my forward players have got to be Chisungu Kankone and Rogers Mato. Rogers Mato for obvious reasons, because he was the top scorer of the football club. He scored a couple of crucial goals for the club. Remember that goal against Vipers early in the season, 5th minute of the game, and also the 4 goals he scored at the end. And very crucial goal that he scored. I remember in the second round of the season, he scores, I think, against Kampala junior team. He scores against Mbara City. There's a run that he had of about that month of, I think, Feb and March.
Yes.
He scored almost in every game.
Almost every game.
That the club had
National
played.
team, club football, was man on fire.
Yes. So Kampala junior team, he was, just like you said, he was man on fire, man on song. So Chisungu Kankonde also, because of the goals that he scored, notably there's that goal away against Kataka in the Uganda Cup. And very brilliant goal because he had just come also from the bench on as a substitute, and he scores that goal against Bosoga that you mentioned among your best goals. Should be my second best goal of the season. Just quick interchange with Okello, and then he shoots. Then there's this goal against Express, should have been the first goal for the club that he scored for the club against Express at home. Yeah. And you feel that there's more he can give to the club. He's going to miss the first 4 games next season because of the ban. But you get to feel that there's more that he can give to the club. So I think that's my 11. Well, a little few changes compared to yours, but I think
there's only one change.
Which one?
You're playing a back 3. I played the back 4.
Playing 3-4.
You only pulled out Magero and replaced him with Poloto.
Actually, I'm playing a 3-5-2.
Yes, but all the players are the same. We only 10. You took out 10 of my players. You only put in Poloto for Magero.
That's the difference. Best moment, something that you will never forget this season that could have happened, and it may not even be a goal and something, but you're like, oh my god, this game, or maybe the environment, or everything that happened, that this was your best. What is that?
My best moment, first of all, for me, of course, the best moment was returning to the club. Club that I worked, the first club that I really started working in football with, of course, with you. So that was one of my best moments, and it's always a pleasure being part of the family.
Yeah.
Then my other best moment will come as a game. KCCA may have lost that game, but the game against Vipers, both home and away, were, I think, one of my best moments. I think it's because right now in Uganda, we can say that is the biggest game in the country, because the masses that it pulls, the muscle that it has to pull.
Biggest?
Yes, it's the biggest game in the country right now. The numbers it brings. Trust me, even when
I think it's the most hyped game, but I think the biggest game will always be Villa KCCA.
We are looking at the numbers it brings.
Yeah, the numbers,
in the stadiums.
But
You can bear
because
witness.
we will never change that the biggest game in England will always be Man U. No. Man U Liverpool. It's the biggest game in England.
True. But
even when Man City and United are on form at a certain time, the biggest game will
But
always
right now, I'm looking at the masses it polls.
Okay.
Vipers KCCA polls the biggest number of people, both home and away. I think the hugest crowd KCCA had this season was the home match against Vipers.
Yeah.
That is the hugest crowd it has ever had. And I can also say the hugest crowd
this season, not ever had.
This season, of course.
Yeah.
The hugest crowd Vipers had was the Vipers and KCCA game.
KCCA.
And also maybe that was because of how close the table was towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
But for me, those are the two games that I really enjoyed. KCCA may have lost the game away in Chitende, but they were the better team and they played their hearts out.
Yes.
And for me, that was the best moment of the season.
Best moment of the season. Standout player or someone you felt was a revelation. Whole season, not talking about first round or something. When you look at everything added, you standout player. Most valuable player.
My standout players are two. The first standout player is going to have to be Mustafa Mujuzi for me. This is a guy who, even when he is injured, he wants to get into the team next week. He wants to have an injury for 2-3 days and he wants to get into the team. And for me, like I said, to be a good player, before you be anything, you have to be available.
Yeah.
And Mustafa Mujuzi has always been available. There's a lot of talk when he joined the club. Of course, people talking a lot of things. He's a mature player. He's old. But I don't know, among those talking, who gave birth to him to now old he was.
He's in his early 20s, 23, 24, around there. Are you the mother?
Then I'm 12.
You want to say that he's not 23,
No, I'm
24?
12. I'm making.
Go ahead.
So for me, Mustafa Mujuzi was my standout player at KCCA FC. Special mention goes to Saidi Mayanja. He had very few games, but his impact was felt. I think anyone who talks about Saidi Mayanja, you would actually see what he brought on the pitch. And how can you hate Saidi Mayanja? I think he was almost fan favorite.
Fan favorite. Just a little bit from Patrick. Mine will be, yes, Mujuzi Mustafa. I would say he may not be my most valuable player for the season, but was my standout player. This is a player, like Patrick says, he will give 100%. The desire is there. The commitment is top. Not the most talented of the current crop of that KCFC team, but the kind of heart and that he has for the team. And for me, you see, you might be talented, but just like they say, talent alone is not enough. When hard work, with someone that really works hard, does work hard, they will beat the talented player. So, Mujuzi Mustafa, kudos to you, and I hope that you can just even do better going forward. That is for the club. My revelation is also still the same player, Saidi Mayanja. Did not get to play very many games in the first round, but when his chance came, he used it. National team player, that is for the Uganda under-20. Recently summoned for the senior Uganda Cranes team. He may not have made the team that traveled to Cameroon to play that game against Algeria, but the fact that he's knocking on the door is top. And the last 8 games that he played for the club when Jackson Mayanja came in, maybe because he had worked with him in the under-20, but he still also paid back his faith to the coach. My most valuable player has got to be Rogers Mato. Not the very best of first season for the club, but his second season, he used his opportunity for both club and country. Scores a very important goal against Tanzania that keeps Uganda's hopes high and up because there's still a chance to qualify to the AFCON. And also his 11 goals in the league and his 4 goals in the Uganda Cup. So for me, top player, Rogers Mato, and I hope that the sky is the limit. Now, Patrick, as we're done with the 2022-2023 season. The focus now is on the new season, but now in the last 3 minutes, we're going to be talking about the new coach. There is a new manager for KCCA, and it's
also
Sergio.
To special mention to CAF. That's if KCCA is still going to go to.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that here, but as we wind up. But then the
Anything
coach,
can happen.
Sergio Traguil, Portuguese manager, 42 years of age, and is the new manager for KCCA. So we'll be getting to know who he will be working with later on. But let's first focus on this gentleman. You've read a little bit about him. He'll be coming in the next, I think, 1 week because he officially starts his work on the 1st of July, Mr. Sergio.
And we can't wait to have him on KCCA FC TV. Of course, we always have the exclusive interviews for such people and such interviews. For me, it will just be a quick one. From the little that I've read about him, he's so good at developing young players, academic players, and this has been KCCA's strength throughout the years. KCCA is a team that is known for developing young players. If you look at the players that KCCA has, you have Alan Okello, you have Julius Poloto, you had Chiza Mustafa, you had the likes of Serwagda. KCCA is a team that is known for developing young talent. And if you have a coach who understands young players, who knows how to handle them, of course, not every coach knows how to handle young players. They will annoy you at a certain point of time, but handling them, player management is what is very important. And for me, I think he's going to do a very great job with the crop of players that we have. And maybe I expect a few more signings from KCCA and a few more players to leave. So I wait to see how he's going to deal with the crop of players that we have. But I think he's going to do a very good job.
Very massive guy, like you say. But just to read that statement that came out from KCCFC about a week ago, and that this read that KCCFC is pleased to announce Sergio Daniel Moniz Traguil as the manager of the men's senior team on a 2-year deal. So gentlemen, if you're asking, is he on a 2-year deal? Sergio is the holder of the UEFA A license and currently pursuing his UEFA A Pro license. Takes over from Jackson Mayanja, who has been the interim manager. So he's a Portuguese by birth. His coaching career started at Sports Lisboa in Benfica. In a statement that came from the club, the CEO said that KCCA will benefit greatly from Sergio's extensive expertise, high standards of excellence and character. He's a successful coach who has worked at the highest levels in a number of different leagues on the continent, but most importantly conforms to the club's DNA of playing beautiful football and youth development. He's expected to take charge effective 1st July 2023. In 30 seconds as we wind up, his first assignment is the CAF Confederations Cup, which will be happening in August, and the club has confirmed its participation. Very short time for him to set a team up. He's got about 6 weeks to his first game for the club.
It may be a very short time, but quickly, I think if most of the players, and I think KCCA looks at keeping most of its players who have played together for 2 or more seasons. That should be a very good start for him. He's going to find a team that know each other and a team that know themselves and know how to play together. There is not much like new players who have to learn how to play together. So I think that's a good start for him. And maybe a few players will come in, but I expect most of the KCCFC team players who are there now to stick around.
Fantastic. Your parting shots, Patrick, as you look through that camera and as we wind up the season, and then I'll be saying bye after that.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank all the KCCA FC fans, well-wishers, supporters of other teams that watch KCCA FC TV, for being with us right from season 4, episode 1, till the last episode, which is 31. And we hope to bring you things that are far much better than what you had now on season 5 of the TV. So thank you and goodbye. Season 4 ends here.
Well, you said all that, and I will not want to, just extend anything else, but I just want to wish all the best to Mr. Sergio Traguil, that is the new manager for the club, and for everybody that has been part of season 4, the team behind the camera crew, the producers of the show, the head of TV, Patrick and I, all you guys, thank you very much. And I will end this by saying that I am your usual host, Magero Moses Mwanje is my name. Have a fantastic time and see you in season 5.
You Bye-bye. And I
are walking this
together.
Bye guys, and see you in season 5.